In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the techniques you can use to build these angular buildings like my Flatiron building here. This particular building is a little bit difficult to do, and the reason that I say that is it's not a pure triangle. You have this really odd shape, and by that I mean you have one side that is actually on an angle, and then the other side is a true right angle, which really makes this extremely difficult. So in order to accomplish this really odd-shaped building, one of the first things I had to do was come up with a way for me to be able to physically attach all three corners together. And here's what I've actually come up with. I'm using the 1x2 plate, and I'm stacking them 3 tall to form a brick. And what I'm doing is I'm staggering them as I go along. And by doing this, what it's actually allowing me is it gives me the ability to form the corners into any angle I want to make the attachment point. And to add to the structural rigidity of this, what I'm also doing is I am sliding the tubing that I sell on my website through each corner because all these parts have a hole in them. And to save me on the plates, I'm also using the 1x1 round brick as well. And this is what allows me to do that really goofy corner on the building. Here I'm showing you from the inside of the building how everything looks as it's staggered. You can see the 1x2 plates that are put together, and you can also see the combination of the 1x1 round bricks. And you can see from looking at the top, every single corner on this building has a completely different angle. The next thing I want to talk about is how do you get all that greebling on the side of the building? Well, this entire building is built using snot bricks, and I mean it is everywhere. That is how I'm able to add all this greebling. And it's not just for the aesthetics of the building as well, even though the aesthetics of using the snot bricks allows me to add tons of greebling. It's also to provide strength, because if you're overlapping the bricks while you're doing the assembly and then you are overlapping your tiles or whatever you're using on the exterior for the greebling, you are going to have one extremely, and I mean extremely strong build when it's done. The next problem to overcome is the fact that the walls on this particular build are extremely long. To give you some idea of length and reference, the footprint of this building is built onto 3 48 by 48 base plates. So each wall has a lot of length, to say the least. And because they are so long, part of the problem that you have is the walls are actually kind of wavy. They're shaky. They're not very strong. So what I'm doing here, as you can see in the video, is I'm building kind of a honeycomb structure on the inside of it in order to attach one wall to the other. And in order to do that, I had to use hinge plates in the center of that wall for a breaking point, so that way they would actually line up with the other side. And this is going to allow me to be able to pick up and move this building around without having to worry about everything shifting, moving, and breaking apart. It's going to give me a lot more structural strength. But the real clue or trick to doing this is with the type of plates you use at the bottom. First, real quickly, I wanted to point out you can see the honeycomb pattern that I'm talking about that I build inside of the structure. And I'm doing that quite simply because I do plan on doing a full interior, but trying to give you a closer view of the floor. You can see here I am using 3x6 wedge plates. And with me doing that, it gives me the ability to put a very close looking floor together. And you can see that I'm holding it together even on the bottom section with some wedge plates. And that is what is making up the floor of this. Now, it is not the perfect solution, but this was the best solution that I could personally come up with for doing this particular build. To try and give you an even better view of what I'm talking about, this would be one of the sections of floor that I'm actually using inside of it. And you can see all the 3x6 wedge plates that run right up and along the 8x16 plates. There was a little bit more of a gap than the 8x16 was meeting, so you can see I had to run a row of plates in between the 8x16 and the wedge plates, and it really helps bring everything together. I also had to change out the nose, because originally the nose, I had built it in a manner and fashion that everything was just sloped to the one side, and to me it just didn't look clean. So what I did is I ripped the entire nose off and redid everything using the exact same technique I just explained on the floor. The difference with this, though, is, and you're going to see in the video as I show you the complete teardown and build, is that the left wall, the wall that is on the angle, what I physically did with that to make everything work really well was I just attached those windows to the left wall, and then the right wall is physically built to the floor itself. And that allowed me the way to be able to fully complete everything and give it a really nice finished look. Now, I'm building in this video and I used trans blue glass. I personally didn't like it because there is no trans blue windows in this entire building. So what I ended up doing before everything was fully completed here is I ended up taking everything out and redoing it in trans clear. To me, it looks much better this way, and it looks much better for a couple different reasons. Number one, the nose of this building is always used to put like art displays and things like that inside of it. And I felt, you know what, when I do this and I light it up, I want to do the exact same thing. Just to show you real quick, here's two pictures of the Flatiron building with stuff on display inside of it. And I also want to point out, you'll notice there's like a little bit of greebling on top of that. And that was part of the reason why I also changed the nose of mine. I wanted to make sure I had that little bit of greebling, those points sticking up on the front of the building, because I really want to match this as closely as possible. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put in the nose yet, but I am going to put something, art, clothing, something on display. Another thing worth noting is I was explained to me, once upon a time, there was a Sprint store inside of the Flatiron building. So in the nose, just like it was originally located, I put a cell phone store as well. Now, I do intend on doing the entire interior of this building at some point, although I doubt it will be as full as my Avengers Tower, like I'm showing you here, because my Avengers Tower, it is filled from top to bottom. What my plan is, and that's again why I did the honeycomb, is I might put a scene back in the back right-hand corner, one in the middle, maybe one in the nose, and I'm thinking things like from the Daily Bugle from when the Tobey Maguire movies, and maybe even putting the boys' headquarters inside of it. And I know this building has been in a few other movies as well, so we'll have to see what scenes come to pass. I hope that covers everything. I know I've received a lot of different questions in regards to this building, and this is going to take me every bit of a year to complete, so don't expect this to be done overnight. A lot of it, I am just looking to get the exterior structure finished, and then I will move back to doing lighting, interior details, and all of that fun stuff. But as always, thanks for coming to Bevins Bricks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below, and we'll see you next time on Bevins Bricks.